Yeah, I don't think we can be shocked because there's been a lot of smoke surrounding whether or not he was going to step away, whether that means he's going to get right back into coaching. I know we're going to talk about that. And I know that the immediate reporting is he plans to maybe go to TV, but I wonder if someone could entice him to come coach for them. I know Brew.
He'll be fantastic on TV.
Yeah, no, he'd be great on TV, and I'm sure, I'm sure, I don't want to speak for anybody, but our bosses and everybody that covers the NFL would love to at least talk with Mike Tomlin about things. And I have massive respect for him. But it does feel like it was time, and it feels like there was no path to the getting over the hump for Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And it's not just that he, now has lost 7 straight playoff games. The losses are all really, really rough watches. So prior to last night, the 6 losses, they were trailing in those games to start 36-9, 21-0, 28-0, 35-7, 21-0, and 21-0. So those previous 6 losses started a combined 162-16.
Yeah.
Last night started fine.
Things were going great.
Right. Last night it's 7-6.
Right.
And it ends 23-0. All of those losses, except for a home loss to Blake Bortles coming off a bye, 45-42, were blowouts. And I have my thoughts, Brew, on what the kind of late-stage Tomlin original sin was. Involves being in what I believe to be denial about the quarterback position and them not being able to fix that. But I think it can be true that Mike Tomlin is a great coach, that Mike Tomlin may one day be a Hall of Famer, that Mike Tomlin has more than a decade plus of great coaching ahead of him, and this is good news for the Steelers, that he is deciding to step down so they can turn the page and refresh without it being disrespectful to Tomlin, who I truly do believe is a great NFL head coach.
Well, the only thing I really disagree with you on there is I think he's a definite Hall of Famer.
Oh,
like
okay.
He's got the Super Bowl. He's been to 2 and never had a losing season. And first of all, I'll say this. For the past few years, I've mentioned it periodically on the show when we've talked about it. I have felt like, okay, they're not going to fire Tomlin. That's not what they do. He obviously is just an institution in the franchise. But I felt a discussion and him wanting to walk away. Like, I just felt like it's not only maybe time for them to move on, but it's time for him to move on. I just think there are other situations that he can excel in and might be good for him. So I'm sure we'll see him on the sidelines, if not immediately, in the next few years, and I think he'll be good. Like every team, I was looking through what teams would he be. Every team that has an opening should be looking at him.
That has an opening.
I don't know if he'll want to coach right away, but every single team, including Baltimore, should look at Mike Tomlin. So,
I mean, I don't know about Baltimore, but clears throat. I mean, what's really interesting to me about coaching here? So much of it depends on some of these factors that we just don't always have all the information. And sometimes you rely on other people to give you that information because they ideally are connected to the people that actually have that information, whether it be a Colin Cowherd or whatever, who's actually having conversations with like the literal owners, the GMs, et cetera, and when someone says that, oh, someone should take a Mike Tomlin at a different job, for another team, it's like, but he couldn't fix the Steelers. Why would he fix the Baltimore Ravens? Why would he be better for the Baltimore? Like, that's a perfect example that Brew brought up, the Ravens. Like, why would he be better for the Ravens? Like, why? Like, I'm not so sure there's that answer. And now the reason why I brought up, like, the information that we don't know is we're told of Mike Tomlin had a lot of power and control in that organization. And I believe that's true. I believe it was his decision to be like, we're rolling with Mason Rudolph, we're going with Aaron, we're going with Russ, we're going with F. Like he has that control, he has that power, Whereas there may be other teams, for instance, Zach Taylor with the Bengals probably has like zero power and control. That's why they kept him, because he's just kind of like, yeah, sure, yep. Like I don't think he's the one that truly has the control and power over roster construction in a way that, say, Mike Tomlin did. And then the whole same thing with Kevin Stefanski. It's like, how much control and power does he have with that team that is just a clown show of an organization? Did he want Deshaun Watson? Did he want to move on from Baker? Like what did he want? No. Shader Sanders, like, did he want Dylan Gabriel? It's like, what did he want? We're not really sure. Nick Sirianni has probably zero control over how that Philadelphia Eagles roster is constructed. Couldn't even hire his own coordinators, doesn't even call his own plays, right? Sean McVay has tremendous power over his roster construction. Andy Reid, tremendous power. And so if Mike Tomlin holds that power, which I believe he does, it's like, well, then where does he go that you think that he's then just going to be able to rebuild and get everything going? And again, I think Mike Tomlin is a really, really, really good coach. I really do. And I think he could be a great leader in a franchise that's like going nowhere. And nowhere fast could really benefit from him. Like, I do think a Cleveland Browns could benefit from him. I do think a Tennessee Titans could benefit from him. But ultimately, if you're looking to elevate and get to that next level, is Mike Tomlin the coach you want? I don't know. And it is a bummer that over a big chunk of his career, he had the aging Big Ben, and then they just could not get the quarterback position right. They could not do that. They just could not figure that out. They could not. And he snorts, has to suffer some of the consequences of that. This is what I had said in my video earlier before he was officially, before he officially stepped down, where it's just like the organization had a big win, had a big loss with some of these other decisions that you see other teams that are able to make, whether that's getting a Sam Darnold, a Daniel Jones, a M. Jones, like you see these other organizations be able to pull these things off. You see the Philadelphia Eagles be able to have one coach win a Super Bowl, fire that coach, get a new coaching staff and a new roster, and then go to another 2 Super Bowls and win one all within the same time span, where the Steelers have not won a single playoff game. Like, that's pretty wild when you say it out loud. That's pretty wild that the Eagles were able to win a Super Bowl, fire everyone, rebuild, get a new quarterback, get a new coaching staff, build a new roster, except for like 4 or 5 guys, and then go to another 2 Super Bowls and win one all in the same time that it took the Pittsburgh Steelers to like not even win a playoff game. That does have to mean something. It just does. It has to mean something. It just does. The 49ers going to 2 Super Bowls with 2 completely different quarterbacks in the same time span, that has to mean something. The Los Angeles Rams going to 2 Super Bowls and winning one with 2 completely different quarterbacks, that has to mean something. It has to mean something. Just like the Dallas Cowboys not making an NFC championship game in 30 years has to mean something. Just like the fact that CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans have 3 playoff wins, and the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott have 2 when Dak was drafted when CJ Stroud was in middle school. That has to mean something. These are indicators of when a team is well run and when a team is not. It can't always just be like, wow, injuries. Well, we couldn't find the quarterback. Well, we can't do this. Yeah, it's hard. Football is hard. It's definitely hard. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But any of the swings the Steelers took, they were pretty lukewarm at the end of the day. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers, they were all kind of like little low risk. Maybe it works. It'll be pretty cool. If not, whatever. The Seahawks built a Super Bowl contending team. And they took a big swing and said, we're going to go out and get Sam Darn. That was not an obvious pick. That was not an obvious move. No one in their right mind said that that was an obvious move. I did because I loved it. The vast majority of people were not saying that. They were like, I don't know how good is Sam Darnold actually. He's really just a product of Kevin Unnell, and they clearly have a Super Bowl contending roster as they are the number 1 team in the NFC. First round bye, home field advantage. And they did that with Sam Darnold. That was a massive risk because if Sam Darnold was not that guy, then they are not in the position that they're in right now. That's the reality. So You have to look at Tom, and you also have to look at, organizationally. You have to kind of look around with a lot of people with the Pittsburgh Steelers, honestly, unless you come to the conclusion that Mike Tomlin had a lot less control. So it's really interesting to see, to me, where they go from here, because so much of the focus is going to be on Mike Tomlin as the man, the coach, the individual, the personality, as they're talking about he's going to be great on TV. And yeah, that's part of the conversation too. But it's also what do the Pittsburgh Steelers do from here? What do they look to do? What swings do they take? What player that you talk about? Oh, we can't draft a quarterback, blah, blah. It's like the Saints look better right now with Kel Moore and Chuck, who was drafted in. Definitely not the first round, certainly not the first round, and yet that offense has some pop to it. The Philadelphia Eagles got Jalen Hurts in the second round, so there's just moves to make organizationally, and the Steelers have failed to make them year after year after year after year after year. And so you have to figure out truly why that is. Ownership, management, any of the other random people that we don't really know, right? They always focus on the GM and the owner and the coach, and it's there's lots of other people in between. There's lots of other little things that go on there, lots of other people that get paid a lot of money and make a lot of moves, and it's just you got to isolate where are the problems. Scouting, management. That's why I just say management, because it's there's other people that are managing coaching. Who has the power? Who's lacking the power? Who has final say? You got to get to the bottom of that and figure out, how do we start making better decisions? When you figure that out, then you figure out how you could be great again. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin parting ways? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much.